My name is Askouri. I'm from Sudan, northern Sudan, from an area called Al-Manasir. This area will be submerged by Merowe Dam project. The area in which the dam is built within northern Sudan. The Nile force cataracts or rapid. There are 6 cataracts on the river Nile. This is the 4th one. The area is old in history. This is where the Cushitic and Nabatean civilization, the oldest African civilization, took place and ruled from this area and conquered Egypt and up to Palestine, 1,000 years or more, 2,000 years ago. So the area is very rich in history. Now people live in the area, depend mainly on the Nile. All their life depends on the Nile. They are a small farmer. They farm their plots and irrigate by pumping water from the Nile. The Marowe Dam project, according to the Dam Authority, it is a hydropower project that is to produce 1,250 megawatt of hydropower. It started in 2003, funded by Chinese Exim Bank and Arab Development Bank, like Kuwait Development Bank, Saudi Development Bank, Abu Dhabi Development Bank, Sultanate of Oman, and the State of Qatar. Plus, of course, Sudanese government. The project cost could reach, and I say could because we don't know the exact figure, $2 billion. It is a massive project that stretches for 9 kilometers across the Nile course. It will displace more than 50,000 people, small farmers living along the bank of the Nile. The project will have a reservoir stretching for 170 kilometers southwards of the dam. The dam has been marked from the start by a major human rights violation, and it also violates international standards regarding infrastructure projects. And 2 experts documented that the dam project violates World Bank guidelines on 63 counts. The project has no environmental impact assessment study. The only study available was prepared by Lahmer, the dam consultant. There are 3 groups will be affected by the dam. These are the Hamadab. We used to know this project as a Hamadab Dam, but due to political interest, its name has been changed to Merowe. But for us as affected people, we know it as Hamadab Dam. So there's a group of the Hamadab where the dam is built. The Amri, second largest group, the Hamadab represent 8%, the Amri represent 28%, and the Manasir 67%. Hamadab has been displaced to a desert location called Al-Multaga, about starting from 7 to 40 kilometers into the desert away from the Nile. Amri, half of Amri has been displaced to another desert location. The other half still remain in the area. The Manasir has not yet been displaced. The main demand of the affected group is to be resettled around the reservoir. The affected communities are not against the dam. And because the life is very harsh in that area, the communities thought that the dam could bring some benefit and improve their life, whereas the reverse has happened. There has been, as I said earlier, a massive human rights abuse. Affected communities, a member of affected communities have been detained, tortured, abused, and last year, in April last year, the dam militia attacked a peaceful meeting in Amri and shot three leaders of the Amri people, of the affected communities, and injured 40 of them. Since that time, the situation remained tense. The Dam Authority continues to refuse to negotiate with the affected communities, and it wants to relocate them in the desert. That is the main point of conflict. In northern Sudan, the water is life everywhere, but in that part of Sudan, where the Nile is the only source for water, you cannot live in the desert because too high, the temperature is too high, it gets up to 44 Celsius, and there's no arable land in the desert. So the main demand of the affected communities is to be resettled around the reservoir, near the water, and in an attempt to avoid any conflict with the Dam Authority, the affected communities said clearly that we don't want compensation, we don't want houses, we want to be resettled around the reservoir. And if the government is not prepared to compensate us, we will build our own houses. But even at this level, the government doesn't seem to be satisfied by this. And the government insists of relocating the affected communities to the desert. And this is the point of conflict. Unfortunately, this process has started and is still going on. And if continues, then a catastrophe in northern Sudan is unavoidable, because the affected communities say clearly that they are not going to leave their land. And whatever happens, they are going to remain in their land.